to the check down. Welcome to the check down. To the check down. Check now because the information will flow. You'll be amazed at what you learn and what you don't know. Take the opportunity to enjoy the presenters. Connect the spots like people with Wi-Fi transmitters. Get your phones out your tablets or your computer. If you know some friends that would, you should include them. Tell them to tune in and get ready to move the needle. To monopolize so much talent should be illegal. Welcome to the check down, where we bout to check now for upcoming events, opinions, and insight rounds, sports and entertainment. Jump in or pipe down. Welcome to the check down, to the check down. Welcome to the check down, to the check down. Welcome to the check down, to the check down. 58 Live is the place to be for quality broadcast for you to see. They deliver prime coverage like Amazon. No matter what day of the week you see them on, you don't need to double check. The truth is clearer than air. Treat it like a viral video and share, share, share. There's no comparison, no equal to mention. You can see for yourself, let it have your attention. From the beginning you'll see what you would have hated to miss, and the recapable moments. So keep dropping the hits. Turn up the volume, grab your favorite seat. So sit back right now and enjoy what's on screen. 58 Live in the building. Best crew out there filming. 58 Live in the building. Best crew out there filming.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, episode 1. Let's have a little fun. All right, here we go. We got Jennifer Colbert, Craig Chapman in the house. Gentlemen, ladies, how are y'all both doing today?
Great.
All right. Well, hey, if we get this audio figured out, that's the best thing in the world. When they always say, hey, you wonder who is in charge of that. And I'm like, I'm still trying to figure that out in that situation. And it's always nice to see what you get going per that perspective. So, but want to welcome everybody to the Check Down. We're still trying to make sure we are very focused on it. It's very neat sometimes where our minds are like, hey, we're going to do this, and I don't care. It's going to be fun. So Craig Chapman, baseball coach, basketball coach, football coach. Jennifer Colbert, owner and operator of 1-4 Visuals Photography. I'm Bo McMichael with Score 58 Network, live here on the wonderful environment of the Check Down. So Craig and Jennifer, talk to me a little bit about what you think the Check Down's about, because I did not tell y'all anything, and you just wrote down the word why. Why am I here? What are we doing? Go ahead.
I'll go first, Jennifer. I would be taking an educated guess here if I said it was about all forms of football. And since this is on Thursday, it would probably be focusing on the action that's going to be coming up on the upcoming weekend. Am I close?
Well, I mean, I'll give you some songs here for a second to see if you had that. Here we go. All right, that's not bad. I'll take that in mind. All right, so with that in mind here, Jennifer, what do you think this is going to be about?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what Craig said, and then just kind of a roundup of, like I said, we do a lot more sports than just football, so a roundup of sports, entertainment.
Hey, Craig, that sounds like a basketball player got offended by you just saying football because, I mean, this is the weekend of state championships across the board, so it's crazy to think that you just said that, but that's okay. Nobody's going to hold that against you as well. So it's one of those very interesting across to say, hey, what's going on in that manner. But most importantly, here on the Check Down, we're here to bring you a little bit of knowledge across what here on Score 58 Network we do, but most importantly, give you a little bit of insight and have some fun. One of the big goals here in 2023 for Score 58 Network is to have a weekly show. So every Thursday night, whether it's me sitting with a robe on and talking to the world, don't shake your head, man. They can see you live on the air. That's just horrible on that part. But we're going to have some fun. Having some guests across tonight. We got 2 guests from 2 different semi-pro divisions. But before we get that started, let's just talk a little bit about what happened last week, Craig, in semi-pro football that we had a chance. We streamed 5 games across the network. Do you remember the outcome of any of those games?
I know that the Northeast Wolverines destroyed their opponents. I can't remember exactly who it was. It Was it the Georgia Falcons?
It was. We didn't get the Titans and the Falcons. You get to pull the board
right,
here.
The Broncos.
Yeah, the Titans and the Falcons were a no-show on our end, but we had the top 5 games across that on that board.
Kings Mountain Force beat the Hilton Head Sharks 56-0. The Atlanta Tigers defeated the Winchester Ducks. The Bama Bad Boys outlasted the South Georgia Cavaliers. I think that final was 12-8. I think Northeast Georgia Wolverines were 36-0 over the Pruitt Broncos. Clayton County Spartans defeated the Atlanta Outlaws, and then the Georgia Titans and the Georgia Falcons was a no contest, I believe.
Well, I think they did ended up playing, if I'm not mistaken, but not at a different field other than Lenore Park.
Okay.
And we do have our first guest into the mix right now because that's just fun when that happens, coming in onto this situation. We're going to bring in Coach Charlie Jolly from the Clayton County Spartans and going to bring him in on a little guest involvement here. So let's have a little fun and get him up here and see how bad we can mess things up. Coach, how you doing today, sir? Oh, he's frozen. His audio is going to come in here in just a minute. We brought him in too soon. And the story of my life right there. He looks scared. Let's not get him frightened real quick. So, Coach Jolly, can you hear us okay? And we're good, man. I'm going to turn this thing up and crank you up across the board. So let me do this. All right, Coach, talk to me a little bit about the team that you're about to play here on Saturday. Go ahead, sir.
All right, the Georgia Titans. Great history with the Georgia Titans. Mr. Mike over there, one of the owners, pretty great guy. Looking forward to the team. Some of the players that's over there, they played with me before. I actually played with the Titans a couple of summers ago, and we actually won a ring with them. So from my understanding, they brought that same championship team back this year to try to compete in the spring season.
All right. So overall wise, you had how many games have you had in the belt? 1 or 2? I did think you did play week 0, correct?
Yes, sir. We played a week 0. A lot of controversy with that.
Listen to you. Don't be getting the controversy out there, man. A football game's a football game, man. Coach Chapman, got Craig on here. He's saying there was a controversy. Buddy, I watched the game. Let it go. Let it go. That's what game 1, game 0 is for.
Great. Look, great game. I love the game. I was talking more controversy with the team. You know, we've been back and forth for 2 years.
I know.
We got to play.
And you finally got to play. Well, I mean, before last year, talk to us a little bit about the history of the Clayton County Spartans right now.
All right, so we are going into year 5, season 5. Last year we didn't have coaches. I haven't really had a set coaches for the last 3 years, really. I finally got some coaches this year. I pretty much had half of my team leave me at the beginning of this spring season. So I've been on a big recruiting escapade where I had to come up, and now I finally got my team to start with. So hey, we trying to make something shake with it, Coach.
Well, talk to me a little bit about that. I'm going to let Jennifer and Craig join in here in just a minute, but talk to us a little bit about that whole concept of recruiting players, seeing who's interested and what they want to do here in the semi-professional leagues throughout the United States, but also here in the state of Georgia. Go ahead.
All right, so of course Facebook is probably like my biggest platform because I can actually use when you can promote on Facebook, you know, the paid promotion. So that's been a good way for me to catch some of the guys I do have. A lot of the guys, like I tell them, it's who you play better with people you know. So if you know you're a football player, you're an athlete, I know you know about 2 or 3 more guys who you would like to play with on the field, who you're comfortable playing with to help bring depth to the team. So I try to go about it that way. Other than that, flyers, walking in Walmart, you see somebody with a nice size and you go.
Listen to you. You're looking up folks, man. You're like, you're a tall drink of water. Come with me. Let's go.
I'm trying to tell you, I'm like, man, you like 6'6". You look like you got the athletic build. You play football, you still got something in you.
All right.
And right, hey, hold on, what team?
Listen to you. You be like, you did play college, high school. Tell me what's going on. Right. I hear you, Coach, on that part. What's your age range right now that you have on your team?
All right, so my youngest player I got on the team right now is 19. my oldest player is 47, so I'm between the 18 to 47. A bulk of my guys is between the 22 and 26 mark. So out of my 50 players I have, maybe 40 of them is between 25, between 22 and 26. The rest of them scattered.
Okay. All right. I understand that on that part. So, talk to me a little bit about where you're at in the sense of getting ready for games each week because you've been looking for players. What's your overall options there?
Hey, 0-0 at the beginning of the week. I'm looking forward to every team on my schedule. I'm pretty confident with the guys that I got, so I'm not doing too much of a recruiting thing right now. Just key pieces like DB, safety, majority like them critical pieces. What you need when you go into teams like the Titans, who we should see a lot of air raids from. So other than that, when it comes to the trenches, of course, we will never stop recruiting in the trenches. That's just the more the merrier.
I definitely understand that. Yeah.
other
Craig Chapman, go ahead with your first question, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, Coach Jolly, just about how much practice time do you get each week with your team, and is there a limit on the players you can carry with you when you travel?
All right, so I'm gonna answer the questions backwards. So a limit on on guys to travel with? No, I just typically that Wednesday before we travel, I try to go down the list and personally call. Being that it's semi-pro, we don't have a real standard of who will be coming, how many that's going. You really got to call these guys maybe like that Wednesday before. Hey, can you make it? If so, how you getting there? If you're not driving, I can get a bus. It'll be this. You'll have to do those one-on-ones with literally everybody on the team every week. There's a away game, and pretty much every week there's a home game, so you can know who all will be there, so you can game plan that Thursday, put out the depth chart, and then we have our walkthrough on Friday, game time on Saturday. So that'll go into my next thing. How I feel is if you don't got it once the season starts, you won't have it during the season. So a lot of our practice came maybe 4 or 5 months before the season started. I actually started workouts in June last year. So from June all the way up until now, during the season we don't really practice that much. We'll do a helmet practice at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays. But that's the only time I'll take away from the guys because at the same time, a lot of guys get off work. A lot of guys have to work. So I'm not going to put too much stress on them guys trying to make it a practice and they be burnt out. I'm big on family, so I don't want to take them too far away from their household. So I'm looking at about maybe 4 to 5 hours during the week. We'll have walkthrough. If not a walkthrough on Friday, we'll have a Zoom meeting on Facebook or within our group chat, and we'll go like that. Most of the time, our practice is we only practice on what needs to be fixed at the time. So like making sure everybody understand the coverages, and we just have a good time. We get around, we'll joke, we'll chop it up, talk, whatever you want to call it. Make sure everybody on the same page and keep it pushing. But as far as heavy practicing during the season, we don't do that.
Okay. Well, it definitely sets up a very interesting matchup between the Georgia Titans. Did they play last week, Coach? Can you give me clarification? Was it a yes or a no on that?
No, they did not.
Okay. I could not tell based on somebody posted a score. Jennifer, any questions for Coach Jolly?
Yeah, I had one. So, Coach, there's a lot of semi-pro teams in the Atlanta area. What kind of sets the Clayton County Spartans apart from everybody else? I know you're doing recruiting and everything. So, what kind of makes you guys different at the end of the day?
Well, being that I'm a player too, so I'm a player owner. I just try to tell the guys as straight as it can be. This is what it is. I have a layout. I tell them, hey, I got a partnership with the city of Forest Park. We got our stadium. We play here for free. If the city can recognize a team and give us them incentives, then we have to be doing something right. So I just tell them, You can shop around, you can go to other teams, but I'm pretty sure how I'm running everything over here, you will like it over here better. I don't try to put nobody else down, but hey, I can only tell them what I got.
And you did that very sly, when you say, "I'm not trying to put anybody down, but this is what we got," and we have a field every time on that part. That's the best what you can offer right there on that end. So I definitely understand that. Well, Coach, we look forward to coming out. Make sure we'll post out there again for you to be able to watch the games if you're not able to make it at Kiwanis against the Titans of Georgia. And we look forward to working with you in the future, Coach. Congratulations on your first victory of the year this past weekend. Looking to go above 500. How do you feel like your odds are right now, man? Because you haven't seen the Titans. Because we're going to pick the winners and losers when you get off the air right now. And so you can go ahead and give your thing. Do you have a chance against the Titans, a puncher's chance, or you feel like hey, I mean, this is good billboard, the old billboard material right now for the Titans. Go ahead.
All right, well, I'm not trying to sound cocky, none, but I got us up plus 14, so hey.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have a song for you right here. You can't hear it, but it's gonna sound like this. It's gonna sound great. So those people that go back and watch that, it's from the Karate Kid. It's the best around, buddy. So you're gonna play a great song on that part. Well, Coach, we look forward to having you with us, man. Thanks so much for being with us on this call. And I hope to bring you back later on in the season. Take care of yourself and be safe.
For sure, always welcome. Yes, sir. I'll see you guys later.
All right, thank you so much. All right, Craig, Jennifer, any thoughts about the Clayton County Spartans?
I mean, I love the fact that you put him on the spot and asked him if he was going to win, and he didn't back down.
No, he didn't. He didn't back down at all on that part whatsoever. If we were looking here on their schedule, I mean, this is their matchup. If I get a chance here, I'm going to bring up their schedule before our other guest comes in right now, and I'll bring that up here in just a minute. Talk to us a little bit about these three games. Any enjoyment, any thoughts about our game day here on Saturday? Go ahead, Craig. Talk to us a little bit about this.
Well, I think the Cavs and the Tigers has a chance to be a really great game. You know what you're going to get with both teams, especially Atlanta's going to throw it down the field, solid front seven. And I'm sure the South Georgia Cavaliers are a little bit, I would say, angry after the way the game ended last week, having they dominated that game. They had no business losing it. And, I'm sure they've been looking forward to Saturday night for the whole time. For the Georgia Bears, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, play 13 in the box because the Northeast Georgia Wolverines are going to run the football right at you. And they have, road graders at offensive line. And, and then the Georgia Titans will get to see if they can contain the Clayton County Spartans, superstar quarterback and all their speed.
And you get a chance to look at their schedule right here. Any names come out in your mind there, Jennifer, of teams that you've seen? This is the new IFL X, okay? And when I say that, IFL existed roughly 2 years ago, and that's changed up a little bit. So it gets into an idea of what they're seeing across there. We got a couple of Georgia teams. I don't know who the Young Yellow Jackets are. The Atlanta Outlaws, they played them last week, 120-6. The game that he's talking about is from the Force over in Alabama. We've seen Soldier Force. Now they're just known as the Force. And then you got the Titans and the Falcons. Any thoughts about their schedule? They play an eight-game schedule here in the IFLX, because you had a chance to visit and cover some championship games for the IFL, correct?
Yeah, I've been to, I want to say 2 championship games for the IFL. The 2 teams on here that I recognize, the Georgia Falcons, I've seen a couple of their games. And, well, you said Soldier Force is now the Force, so I've seen them play too. Yeah,
we had that one on that. Everybody else is pretty much new. We've had a chance, so it'll be interesting to see how those teams kind of play out from an overall perspective concerning game day-wise. Now, just kind of a reminder here, first kickoff at 6 o'clock, second game is also at 6 o'clock. Both of those games are not our game of the week. Our game of the week is the Atlanta Tigers versus the South Georgia Cavaliers. That's kickoff at 7 o'clock. We will start a little bit earlier for those individuals out there in this crazy world that want to be able to watch some games and see what's going on. Before we wait for get our host our next guest out there. I'm going to throw some things your way here and have a little fun of just my opinion here and see what both of you think before we get started. Overall, Jennifer, talk to me a little bit about what Score 58 Network is in your eyes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we've grown so much over the past couple of years into, I mean, we were just a sports videography. We film games, and now we're transitioned to more into really just a broadcasting channel. So any kind of live streaming you need for your games, we do that. We multiple cameras and everything like that. Pictures on the picture side, that's where I really do the bulk of my work. So team pictures.
She's lying, ladies and gentlemen. She's lying. She shows up on Friday nights. Don't act like she's not lying in that situation. If you don't show up on Friday night, somebody getting fired, and his name is Bo. Okay, on that part. That's a give and take right there. Craig, overall thoughts about this setup right here? Go ahead.
Well, I like French fries.
You do like French fries?
I would like some good fortune.
But I'll tell you one thing, to get Samuel L. Jackson playing a football game, that's just amazing.
Well,
okay? But we're not going, are you going to talk about the bottom right?
The last one is just something no person ever wants to deal with.
No, we don't. But, and Jennifer, we're not going to ask yet, but I like good fortune. I thought that was good.
Good fortune is good.
Every now and then you get certain things out there and you're like, hey, that's pretty good. We're going to have some little fun with that in that situation.
I thought you were going to tell me that Samuel L. Jackson wanted a Royale with cheese.
No Royale with cheese on that part. I wouldn't do that to you as well. All right, well, we're going to have a little fun here. We got Mr. Bernard Hunt. Bernard, can you hear us? Unmute us. Unmute us. Ask to unmute, and let's get ready for some conversational piece with the commissioner of the APDFL. Coach, can you hear us okay?
I can.
All right, buddy. That's great, man. Hey, welcome to the 2023 football season, week 2. Talk to us a little bit about what happened in week 1. I've got Jennifer and Craig here on our first check down show. I'm glad you could join us. I appreciate that very much, sir. Talk to us a little bit about how week 1 panned out for you.
It was good. It was a really good weekend. We had some games that we expected to be tight, and they were tight. We had some that we expected to be not so close. Most of the games went as expected, but it was a really good weekend. We had one game that I thought was it was you guys' game of the week, and that game was a really tight defensive matchup. So yeah, it was a really good weekend.
It's nice that you say there was a tight matchup. The center quarterback exchange got us so many. We have our games, our keys of the game, and that has become our. Anytime you want to snap the ball over the center head, that was just. Over the quarterback's head. Goodness gracious alive. So you had the 2022 season. What's the difference between the 2022 season and now the 2023 season?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say that more focused. I think 2023, all the owners across the league, it's universal. So it seems that everybody's focused and putting their best foot forward. We have some that you're only as good as the weakest link, so they say. So we have some that we're pulling up and guiding along. But this year, our top teams seem to be doing a lot of work. And that helps quite a bit.
Okay. This week, where are you at with the particular games and the matchups? Because everybody's playing this week. Am I correct, or is there certain teams on a bye that didn't play last week? But everybody should get at least one game in.
Right. We do have a couple teams that aren't playing this week. For the most part, everybody is playing. We do have a couple. I know that I believe the Winchester Ducks are going to not be playing. Clarksville Chiefs. And unfortunate for the Clarksville Chiefs, their game last week was postponed. So they'll have another game that's postponed. That's unfortunate. Same with the Columbus Storm. They had an incident that took place last week that was not of their fault, but it caused them. They were off this week already. So unfortunate for them. But yeah, other than that, most teams will be on the field.
All right, well, that's good. Well, Craig, do you have any questions to ask Ethan Hunt? My bad, Bernard Hunt, not Ethan Hunt. He's not involved in any type of Mission Impossible right now. He's been running this league for how long there, Mr. Hunt?
This is year 11.
Year 11, man. That is just congratulations for consistency of 11 years, being in 2023 and starting that off and where you're at right now in 2011. It's just absolutely amazing. We've been a part of a lot of your journey from the past 11 years, and so glad that you were able to join us tonight. Craig, go ahead with your question, sir. Oh, hold on one, Craig. My bad, buddy. I love when I give you a mic and I don't turn your mic on. Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
Well, my question comes from the logistical part of this because, you know, I have to do this myself. I was wondering how do you generate a schedule for the league, and then when you generate the schedule, you know, how are all the things that are handled on the home sites? Who is responsible for referees and things like that?
So with the APDFL, we pretty much are responsible for having them come out. So what we do is we have a officials board. We have a director of officials for the East and a director of officials for the West. And each team, if they already have officials, what we do is we have them collectively get in touch with our directors. Our directors ensure that they are up to date with NCAA rules because we do utilize NCAA rules top to bottom. So they ensure that they're up to date on those, and then we get them listed with the APDFL Officials Association. So the league or our director of officials actually typically will send them out to the games. But for the most part, if you're say the Cavaliers, for instance, if you're the Cavaliers, well, I can't use the Cavaliers because it wouldn't be accurate for them. But with the Georgia Thrash, they use the same officials all the time. But we just get them NCAA, make sure that they have the knowledge for NCAA. Most of these teams utilize, or most of these officials, I should say, are up to date with high school rules, NFL rules, because they watch that the most. The APDFL is probably the only developmental league in the country that uses NCAA rules, so we have to make sure that they are up to par on that.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Jennifer, do we have any questions for Mr. Hunt?
Yeah, I was just wondering. I mean, you said you've been commissioner of the league for 11 years. How has semi-pro really evolved since you started? I mean, you got competition teams wise. How is that different from when you first started?
Well, when I first started, I think so many teams have come and gone. Leagues have come and gone over those 11 years. And one thing that I've seen being so consistent is that those that come and go for the most part are just there to play football. So I think there's been a lot of leagues, or I should say organizations that have come about that they actually have direction. I feel like, I like to say that there's a couple leagues that I know that have followed our blueprint and actually utilize our bylaws. And I think that's good. But that's the big thing is we try to turn it into football and keep it away from a wrestling match.
All right. Well, Coach, we look forward to week 2. We have our game of the week. It's going to be the Atlanta Tigers versus the South Georgia Cavaliers. Your overall thoughts about that matchup? Have you went ahead and put out the predictions yet? I know normally you do that. I didn't know if you had a chance yet to throw that out there.
I have not as yet. I'm actually going to put those out tonight.
Oh, man, that's great. We're ahead of the curve and being on Thursday. Yeah. Look at you, man. We'll have a little fun across the board. Any front runners right now? You being the commissioner, you don't run a league. I mean, you do run a league. You don't run a team, which is always nice. That's hands down. Do you have any front runners in either the Eastern or the Western Conference right now?
Well, the Dynasty haven't taken the field as of yet.
No, they have not.
Yeah, so this will be their first week on the field, and they're actually in one of the games of the week. They travel to Birmingham and play the Blackhawks this weekend.
Okay.
So we'll get to see a lot about them this weekend and what they bring. They had a lot of players to retire, so we'll get to see what their new look will be. I think the Kings, as of always, in the Western Conference, they're going to be dominant. I do think that the Punishers, the Arkansas Punishers, I think they're going to be a team to watch. I believe that the Cavaliers, once they start to gel and they become a team, I think they're going to be pretty good too. They got a nice running back. My first time watching him was on film, and he stood out. So it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm excited, man. As many games as we can get on the air, we'll help you out across our board to be able to do that. We've got a lot of Georgia teams that are all kind of in the mix, so that's a lot of fun to watch that. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time here today. We won't take up much more of that. I know you're a busy man, especially on a Thursday night, getting ready for Saturday football. Love to have you back later on in the season. Any last thoughts, any last words on your end, sir?
Well, I just want to say, I want to top it off with, it's going to be a really good weekend this weekend. Headlined with that Atlanta Tigers and South Georgia Cavaliers game. That should be a really good game that I believe will go down to the wire just like it did last weekend. So it's going to be a good game. Buckle up and get ready for some great football.
All right. Well, take care of yourself, sir. We look forward to bringing you back later on. Be safe out there in this crazy world. We'll talk to you soon, sir.
Yes, indeed. You guys have a great night.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Well, hey, we pulled off our 2 first interviews. Jennifer, are you just as surprised as I am on that part, or no?
No, I think we did a great job.
Well, I mean, it takes baby steps across there on that part.
That's
it
right.
takes a Joey Bag of Donuts, and it takes Maya Barrett, and it takes Craig and Jennifer to ask proper questions on that. And me pressing the right buttons at the right time. That's the, and we're trying to get these wireless mics to work real well instead of having headphones on. So that's always nice in the first place. Well, so glad to have everybody with us across the board here. And the most important thing is we get to get a little bit of fun here, okay? We already talked about our games of the week, okay? Our game days, when they kick off. We got 3 games this Saturday. Please join us. Craig, your overall thoughts of our game of the week. Talk to me a little bit about that, because Jennifer will be here on site with me breaking the game down. Go ahead, Craig.
It'll be really interesting to see what adjustments South Georgia makes. I watched a little bit of the Atlanta Tigers in the highlight package from last Saturday night, and it's exactly what I remember. They attack you down the field. They really like to throw the ball over the middle, and their offense is explosive, and their defense is stingy. And so I think it's going to be exactly as Mr. Hunt said. I think it's going to be a really good game, and I think it'll come down to the end. I think, however, when we make our predictions, that you know where I'm going with it.
Hey, you're going with the Tigers, man. I mean, based on what you saw with the South Georgia Cavaliers, you're going with that. The Tigers, this is their first true game, or their second true game across that. It's going to be very interesting. I always think, Jennifer, and you can chime in on this because it's all about sometimes about the traveling. This will be their first travel game. How do you feel like, based on your knowledge as semi-professional, how do you feel like people travel, teams travel-wise?
Yeah, I mean, travel and semi-pro is always kind of a mixed bag. You get a lot of guys that are able to travel, but maybe some of your more important pieces aren't able to get on the road on Saturdays and get to that game. And it's all about too what time you show up. I mean, with semi-pro, most of the time they're organizing their own travel, so it's trying to get guys.
It's not a charter bus,
right?
By no means. I mean, the South Georgia game started an hour late.
Right.
I was informed by our producer on site, Joey Russo, that they had about 15 more minutes to get some players there. And how many players do they have, Joey? How many players did they have on? 13 players total that the Bad Boys of Alabama had, and they still won. And Craig, why did they win? Help me out with that.
They won on a 52-yard reverse on the first play of the second half.
And that's what gave them the points.
It was.
And it did not necessarily change from there. You're watching the highlights of those games in particular. So it should be very interesting to see how all this particularly plays out moving forward for this game of a week. Hopefully you're able to tune in with us. And if you do, that's great. I appreciate that wholeheartedly. Now, with that in mind, here comes the fun part. We just got our opinion here. We're going to be on the air we started at 7:45. We're about 30 minutes into it, but we're going to just talk a little bit about some fun things in life right now. And the fun things I love talking about are movies. And I'm going to say that in the sense of that. So we're going to bring in our entertainment philosopher, Mr. Bag of Donuts, to kind of give us some insight on what he thinks are some good movies that are coming out this weekend. And Jennifer and Craig, I need you to be able to ask him some questions. you really want to stump him about this. You don't want to just hold back. You just got to let it rip, you know, because sometimes if you just let it rip, that's sometimes the best thing involved in the day itself. So with that in mind, and once again, it's just our opinion. Nothing, you know, kind of keeping in mind, and we're going to kind of throw him off guard here. And but this is the weekend releases, and get going here. We'll get started here. Weekend releases, movie-wise. I'm going to bring in Mr. Bag of Donuts. He's anonymous. We're not going to mention him at all. Jennifer and Craig, ask him some questions about these movies. Let's kind of trump him. You know, let's see if you can stump the donuts. And that's fine. Go ahead, Jennifer, Craig. You take it away.
I mean, it's a couple of movies on here I've never heard of. So what? I Got a Monster. What is that about?
I guess about a monster. I haven't seen that one either.
Okay.
And
I know the
is-
top three.
This is what it's about. It is pure entertainment. We're trying to stump him, okay?
I think those are the streaming movies.
Okay, no. They released this weekend. Don't change the subject, old man. Okay, you got a job here. This is what you get paid for, the big money right here. Keep going on this part and see what happens. Craig, go ahead with the questions.
Favorite character and best plot twist from the Scream movie?
The first one. I'd have to go with the first one. The two friends. With the
Okay.
plot twist that was her boyfriend.
I haven't seen the movie. What did you just
Spoilers.
spoil it?
Spoilers.
You got to tell us
Oh, I
what's
think
going
that's
on.
a older movie. So,
Yeah, so
the first one,
so
yeah.
you're saying
96.
that doesn't count because it's an older movie
Yes,
on that
yeah,
part?
Yeah. I'm sure,
uh-huh.
If you wanted to see, you've already seen it.
Yeah,
so.
I see how you're playing that game. Jennifer, go ahead and try to stump him. You're 1 for 0 on that part. See if you can stump him right now. Go ahead.
How well do you think Woody Harrelson is not going to get canceled for anything he does in Champions?
Oh well, that well, you know, that's from the one of the Farrelly brothers that did Dumb and Dumber.
Okay.
So he wrote, directed this movie. So everybody's getting canceled in this one.
All right.
And talk to me a little bit about what is this movie particular about from Champions?
It is about a guy who gets in trouble and has to take over a team and coach them.
And the team has special needs,
Right.
correct?
Well, yes.
Okay, I just
special
want to
needs,
make sure
yes,
Jennifer
yes.
Jennifer just asked the question.
Yes.
She like threw a grenade and said, "I want to see if we can get Joey canceled right now." On Mr. Bag of Donuts on that part.
It was like The Ringer. You remember that
Oh,
movie?
but we're not
I do
allowed to
remember
mention
The
that.
Ringer.
That is way past. I'm not getting canceled for that on that part. Craig, last question before we bring in the summer blockbusters.
How bad is it when you go from a major, motion picture franchise like Star Wars to starring in a movie called 65?
Hold on, don't answer that. 1 second. He's going to have a comment
Okay.
made here. I'm not happy with that. So yes, it
How
was
could
not.
you not love dinosaurs?
Here, no. Here we are. I just. Hold on.
Are you telling me the acid rain killed the dinosaurs?
It was.
Yes, it
was.
was,
He went back in time, man. I mean, goodness gracious! Don't spoil it for everybody right here, man. On that part, Joey, your thoughts?
Oh, I'm excited.
You are?
I'm a big Adam Driver fan.
Yeah, me
so.
too, man. I will.
he's,
I will concur with you on that part, hands down on that. All right, so going into the summer releases before we get out of here, your favorite summer release? Go ahead. Craig, which one are you the most excited about right now?
I'm old, so
Yes,
you know,
yes, you are. I mean, here we go. You're so
Indiana-
old.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, followed closely by the Flash because of Batman.
Okay. All right. Jennifer, your thoughts? What are you most excited about?
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I'm really excited about that one. The first one was great, so I'm looking forward to see how they top it. And I'm excited about The Flash too, just because it's taken forever for them to get that film made. So I just really want to see what they did with it and how it's gonna, what it's going to say for the rest of the DC going forward.
All right. Well, Joey, you have an opportunity right now to just crush their dreams. Okay, that is the ultimate goal of this segment, is just to crush their dreams as human beings. Tell them why none of these movies are going to be any good. Go ahead, sir. That's your job.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, they all seem great. I can't crush any of them. That wasn't me.
Craig, I feel like I'm dealing with Adam Collins here, and he's not even here.
I mean, he had easy answers.
He had easy answer. I mean, the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah.
The man's 85 years old.
That
can
was
still
my
whip his- he can
concern
still
about
whip
it,
it.
but you know,
He can still act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was 85, I wouldn't be starring in a movie called The Dial of Destiny. That hits too close to home.
It does, man. I mean, like Destiny, that means I'm going in right now on that part. The one I'm looking forward to most is the Mission Impossible.
Yeah, me too.
If you'd have said we started with Mission Impossible 1 so many years ago, maybe what,
96?
90s. Look at him. He's like a savant, but he's not Craig. I mean, he can just roll things out just like that. 96. And then we got 50 Mission Impossibles later for part 1. I mean, you got to be, imagine if we just said, hey, this is part 1. Craig, do you remember the movie Leonard Part 7?
That would be negative.
Oh, you really don't?
No.
All right, Jennifer, I'm not even going to ask, okay? But Joey knows it, okay? He knows that movie. They decided to start the movie at part 7 to act like it had a trilogy, like a lot of venture. Oh, yeah, I'm not even going to say who starred in it because I don't
No, we
need to get
can't mention
canceled.
it,
No,
yeah,
we're going to
yeah.
get canceled
No,
if we do
no.
that. Somebody is Googling Leonard Part 7 right now. We lost 7 viewers on that one. We're good. All right. Well, Joey, we appreciate it. We look forward to bringing you back here on that part. Any last thoughts here about the Academy Awards? Go ahead, sir. It's this weekend, man.
It is this week. Yeah, this Sunday.
It is this Sunday.
Yeah,
so
so-
any last thoughts going into that? Because we're going to quiz Jennifer. If she can name one Academy, she gets a paycheck, reimbursed. If she can name any of the Academy Awards nominations for Best Pictures. Jennifer, can you name any of them before we put this up here?
for Best Picture.
For Best Picture.
I want to say Everything Everywhere All at Once. I believe that's up for Best Picture.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's what you're going to go with. What about you, Craig?
I'm dumb, so I'm going to say Top Gun.
Okay. Well, both of you are correct
Yep.
in that sense. Jennifer, have you seen that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once?
I have, and it was a crazy ride, but it was great. I liked it.
All right. Well, the Academy Awards are up, and 7,000 movies are nominated on that part. Joey, who is going to win? Just go ahead and lay it out there because you're the bag of donuts. You have all the marbles in the world. Who is going to win Best Pictures?
The front runner is going to be Everywhere, Everything, All at Once.
All right. And Jennifer, you called it to begin with on that part.
But I hear All Quiet on the Western Front is a great movie.
And it's located on Netflix. You can
Yeah.
watch it right now on that part. So no further ado, that's where we're at. It goes live here soon on the good old-fashioned network.
ABC.
ABC is where it's live.
Jimmy Kimmel's hosting.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
That should be interesting. You might get me to watch it. No, I'm watching the finale of The Last of Us. So on some type of stream version. All right. Well, Joey, we'll bring you back on our next broadcast. Thanks so much for joining us.
All right, thank you so
No
much.
problem, Obey. All right. So with no further ado, we're going to wrap this up. Craig, what's that look? You have that look, buddy. What's
We did
going on?
all of those movies, and we did not hit the movie I wanted to talk about.
What did you want to talk about, buddy?
There was no John Wick 4.
Buddy, that's next week. You get to promote that next week.
Okay.
You just got to come back and join us on the show.
Right.
If that's the case. That's the most important thing that you have. Come back and join us next week. Next Thursday, we got Craig and Jennifer, myself, the whole crew of Score 58 Network bringing you the check down, a very raw version. It's all about not where you start, but where you
Finish.
No, not really, man. It's just the second step, brother. If I'm going to finish it right now, my feet are killing me on that part. But I appreciate y'all definitely joining us here tonight, here on the Score 58 Network for our check down. I'm Bo McMichael with Craig Chapman and Jennifer Colbert. Jennifer, any last thoughts before we end out this first episode?
No, I mean, I had a great time. I'm looking forward to seeing how this grows.
Listen to you.
week over
You're
week.
like, it grows, man. Somebody's going to have to put water on it first. We got our tech supporter, Maya. She's like, I don't know about this. We probably should get canceled based on this. Nobody's going to get canceled. Craig, your thoughts, man? I mean, I loved your statement on the email today. Well, let's just do it. You know, we got to do it, you know. My overall concept is really just wanting to talk about sports entertainment in life.
That's the one thing that, you know, I like to talk about more than anything is sports. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of basketball being played, you know, from high school to college. All the tournaments are in action right now. So if you get burned out on basketball, come join us. Watch 3 really good football games on Saturday night.
We're going to have a lot of fun. We'll come in there, and then we got the tournaments. We'll bring up the ACC, the SEC, Big East, all those tournaments, and get ready for March Madness. And most importantly, April 1st, we'll give a little bit of an announcement next Thursday about April 1st and what that means in the world of football across the United States.
I have one more comment.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. You have one more comment. This would be great. Go for it.
No, I just want to give a shout out to my cousin. They just won the second straight state championship at Mount Perrin. So
they
Stephanie
did win.
Dunn, the Mount Perrin Eagles. Congratulations.
That is awesome. And Griffin did win, correct?
They did.
They did.
And I'll see him post on that part. Once my team's exited, I do detach a little bit. I don't. Lovejoy doesn't play till tomorrow, correct? In that, yes. 5:30. So I get to still kind of focus on that part. Well, ladies and gentlemen, those people that are watching outside in the world, here on Facebook, our YouTube, or our Vimeo channel, leave us a little feedback here. Give us some ideas that if you want to hear some things to talk about, that would be great. Glad to have you in with us. We'll follow up uploading some highlights to the games so you can watch all the highlights of all 5 games that we streamed this past week. Take care of yourself out in this crazy world. Maya, Joey, Teddy on the back end that does a great job dealing with me, Craig and Jennifer. Thank y'all so much for tuning in here on the Score 58 Network. Be safe out there. 58 Live closing out. We'll see you next Thursday, 7:45, same time, same place. Be safe.
Upcoming events, opinions, and insight round sports and entertainment. Jump in or pipe down. Welcome to the check down, to the check down. Welcome to the check down, to the check down. Welcome to the check down, to the check down. Check now because the information will flow. You'll be amazed at what you learn and what you don't know. Take the opportunity to enjoy the presenters. Connect the spots like people with Wi-Fi transmitters. Get your